Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video we're going to continue on with our draw a face from any angle. We're going to move on to a 3/4 view of the face and start putting in everything onto that face, all of the features. But first just watch me struggle to keep this sketchbook open so that we can film here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so wedge a little book in there and we'll get started. So first things first, we're drawing that Loomis head and we're getting a circle. I mentioned yesterday that it's a great idea to practice drawing circles to be able to get those Loomis heads down. So get your sketchbook and just fill up at least a couple of pages of circles. And I know that sounds boring and silly, but seriously, go for it. I think it'll help a lot. Practice getting that motion down and getting a good circle the first time. I know in these videos I'm kind of going over it a couple times just to kind of get it a little bit more perfect, but more perfect, that's what we say. But it really is helpful. I really do think it is very helpful. So now we're drawing in the Loomis head. We're getting that side part of the face cut off, that vertical line going down the middle. That's going to be a little bit off to the side because we're doing a 3/4 view of this head. So our face is lining up, looking to the side. And you can tell by the horizontal line how it kind of wraps around that circle or that sphere that we're representing. It goes back a little bit. That's showing this head is pointed down slightly. It's very slight, but it is pointing down a little bit. Now, from that horizontal line, that is going through in the front of the face, that's actually the brow line. I've had a lot of people comment on some of my posts and say that I'm doing it wrong, and it's actually that's where the eye line needs to be. It's actually the brow line, and the eye line is obviously just a little bit underneath that line. If that's the brow line, yep, typically your eyeballs are underneath your brows. So now we're filling in where the nose is going to be. And remember, the spacing typically, is the nose line is going to be halfway down the face from the brow line, and then another nose length down to the bottom of the chin. So this takes a little bit of, it's roughly about around where the bottom of that circle is, but it does take a little bit of figuring out with any, with drawing in general and with these methods. You really, especially during these block-in periods, you really need to be assessing. So continually throughout our drawing, especially at the beginning, but even towards the end of the drawing, when we're getting in our details and rendering everything out, we're taking a step back, we're assessing. In a future video, I'll talk about different ways that we can get different perspectives on what we're drawing while we're drawing it. Because while you're drawing, you kind of get a little bit lost in the drawing itself. And it's really easy to just be like, this is looking great. Just keep going, and you're not taking a step back and looking, and things can kind of get away from you a little bit. So the more information that we're putting on the page, we're taking a step back, literally taking a step back, looking at it from a little bit farther away, A really good way, actually, to take a step back a little bit more figuratively is by looking at your image that you've drawn in the reflection of a mirror. Or you can use your phone, take a picture of it, and flip the canvas. And pretty quickly, any problems that are happening in your drawing, they'll jump out at you, and that's super helpful. And then it takes a little bit of practice and a somewhat discerning eye to figure out what exactly is wrong with your drawing when you see those problems. A lot of times it'll just look like, oh, there's something wrong, but I can't really quite tell. You just practice, take a little bit more time, look at it, look at different specific parts of what you're drawing. If you're using a reference, look at your reference. Take that literal step back and compare your drawing to your reference. And sometimes you need to take a little bit of time. So you kind of feel like this is going wrong. I've tried to do this. I've been working on this for so long. Everything that I'm trying to fix is not working out. Take a break. Just stop drawing. Walk away from your table. Go eat something. Go, drink some water. Go run around outside. Go fishing. I don't know. Whatever you like to do. Just take a break for a minute. Take a break for even longer than a minute. And then when you come back to it, sometimes that can help and you can see it a little bit differently. When you're just looking at something for a long time, it's pretty easy to just get lost in what you're drawing and not really be able to see what the actual problems are, if there are any. And I'm guessing there probably are some. In every drawing I do, I see problems as I'm drawing. So that's why we're constantly assessing. We're looking at what we're doing, we're adjusting, we're assessing, we're adjusting. So right now, see like what I'm doing right here. I'm adjusting this brow. It needs to be a little bit lower than I had it. And if I remember correctly, I might even adjust it more. Possibly not. Also, the angle of the face, I do believe I have it tilted in a little bit too much. I don't think I address and fix that in this video, but in the next video, I will be doing that. So by the end of this video, we won't have a completed drawing yet, but we will get basically all of the facial features put into place with decent proportions, and then we will start adjusting, assessing, and readjusting from there. I think in the next tutorial or the next part of doing this portrait, we'll start talking about shading, how to shade, good practices, and helpful tips that can really help out with our shading game. So let's see, what are we doing now? Right now we're working on the mouth. Whenever I do a portrait, I like to jump around a lot. I never really focus on one particular area for too long. Just because I kind of feel like the more I spend in one spot, the more that spot can kind of get away from me. And then I kind of lose perspective on the rest of the drawing. Proportions can kind of get a little bit out of whack that way. That's just a personal preference. That's what I like to do. If you like to focus on one portion of the face at a time and just work your way through it however way you want to, and whatever way works for you, obviously, that's the way that's going to work for you, and you should do that. Um, it never hurts to try something new, though. Get out of your comfort zone. If you feel like it's a comfort zone, but you're still having trouble with it, it's always a good idea to just try something new. Um, that's There's really nothing wrong with doing that, especially with drawing. Pretty pretty small stakes, really. I mean, they feel like big stakes. You've got your preferences and you don't want to change. Change is hard, but honestly, sometimes change is for the better, and you might find something that works even better for you than what you thought was working for you. So, the mouth is always kind of tricky. I've been learning slowly how to um, not spend too much time on it too soon. The temptation is to really just fill in that top lip. Um, you start outlining it and start filling it in, and then almost every single time by the end of the drawing, it's like that thing is way off. So just you know, you'll figure it out, but yeah, just be careful, I guess. Whatever. You don't have to be careful. I say go for it. Draw in that lip, do it hardcore, and go for it. And if it works out, that's awesome. If it doesn't, you can always change it later. Um, so we've got a little bit of shading here. I just kind of wanted to fill that in because that is going to be our hardest shadow on that side of his face. I mean, you don't have to put that in yet. I just did for some reason. I still got more things I have to do, like getting the hairline and blocking in the hair. So I think in the last video we talked a little bit about drawing hair. And with this hairstyle that this guy has, we're not drawing individual hairs. We're just blocking in the shape. We're blocking in those simple shapes of where the hair is, and we'll eventually get to shading everything, and we can add more detail from there. But it's all about getting your proportions where they need to be, and then very simply and without much detail, slowly filling in values. And you'll notice in my drawing here, my value range is not very big. I'm trying to keep all of my lines roughly the same value. And as I draw, and as I start getting further along in the drawing process and get more detailed, that's when I start filling in all of those darker areas. If I've kind of toned this whole guy out a little bit more, I can start putting in highlights with my eraser. And that's really how you find where all of those darker values are located. And it really is gonna help you get a wider variation and a more accurate difference of values. Because when you're starting from a baseline of everything equal and everything the same, man, it makes it a whole lot easier to fill the rest in and get it all looking nice. So we're moving right along. I know that there's a lot of information getting thrown at you right now. And if you're new to this stuff, I get it. Just take your time with this video. You can watch and rewatch it. That's fine, obviously. I'm noticing that I'm saying obviously a lot. Maybe none of this is obvious. And that's fine. It doesn't need to be obvious. It is what it is. So, and I could probably break this up into quite a few smaller videos, like 2 to 3 minute long videos of each of these processes. But right now I just kind of wanted to get an overall feel for this 3/4 shot of this portrait. So you can kind of get a good sense of how it all works together as you're drawing, and it's not all broken up. Even if you don't use this video to draw a portrait, like you do the same thing that I'm doing, drawing a full portrait, you can break up this video into its separate parts just to help you out with, whatever portion of the portrait that you're working on. Whether it's just the Loomis head, or it's where each facial feature is positioned, or if it's value, or whatever it is. And, if the video itself is going too fast, you can always slow it down. Going too slow, speed it up. Yeah, I mean, it's your life. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to listen to me. I don't know why I'm telling you to do that, but just in case you're watching this and you're going, man, this is taking forever. Yeah, just click the little speed up button and boom, we're speeding along. And either way around. If you need to slow it down, slow it down. So we're getting pretty close to the end. We're actually to the end. So that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you learned a little bit about my process, and maybe a process that could potentially help you. If it does, or if it doesn't, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe. I'd love to do more of these videos. And yeah, thanks guys. All right. See you later. Okay, bye.